Hey, what's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. In today's episode we got something completely different because it has been a very long time since I brought a high-end tattoo machine to the channel, and it's actually a machine I've been having for such a long time, and it's a machine made by JDMFG and it's the Anvil MK1. It's a builder from England, I believe, and he makes very nice like little rotary kind of machines, and they are mainly for people who like to do traditional. And if you want to step over from a coil machine to a rotary machine, it's a pretty rough road because you're missing all the power and all the things that were comfortable when you were working with your coil machines, and then you step over to the rotary and they're light and you cannot get lines in. Now this is a little bit of a game changer if you are looking to do that. This is a 3.5mm stroke. They do have them in longer versions because I bought this machine to use as a more like fine line kind of work. It also works very nice if you do that Italian kind of traditional that has like very fine lines but a little bit of a heavier shade. So yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about this machine and what makes this machine so special, so stay tuned. Now that we have the machine here, we're gonna later run it on a little bit of practice skin to see how it operates. But let's talk a little bit about what this machine, like what makes this machine so special. Now what they have like here, it's a kind of like a direct drive onto a bar that you probably have seen on like a stealth rotary or something like that. But what it makes a little bit more interesting is because right here it kind of has like that dead stop. It stops very parallel to the frame, and then this part of the motor can still turn just a little bit, so it's not like moving constantly. So it has a little bit of that stop right here. The motor can travel just, or the cam can travel a little bit more, and then it's gonna move backwards. So it has a very hard punch that way onto the skin, and that's what makes this feel a little bit more comfortable, especially if you come from like a coil kind of machine. Now this machine is super light. You can barely feel any weight in your hand. I think it's gonna be lighter than probably your Bishop, like the standard Bishop machines that they used to have. It might even be lighter than some of the pen style machines that I have held, especially if you use them how I would use them, and that's with a battery kind of grip. They're wireless and they are going to be lighter than any wireless pen that you're going to hold, especially from the same kind of quality that this machine is. So yeah, that's a very cool feature, that it has like just that little bit of movement while the armature bar is all the way down, and that gives that perfect punch for lining. Now I've been using this machine for quite a bit and I do really like it for lining. I see people do shading and color packing with it, but it's not really my thing. Especially on someone's skin, I feel this is a very good liner. The motor is probably made as well for lining, but shading and color packing, I don't know, I just couldn't really get the hang of it. Now I had this thing as a fine liner, and I had my then Cuban next to it for the bold lining and for the shading and color packing part, so it wasn't really a big problem. But yeah, I was hoping to achieve like a little bit of more like a soft kind of shading with this machine, but for some reason I couldn't achieve it. Could be something that's wrong with me. I'm very honest about that. It's not something that this machine is probably really bad at, but it's maybe something I could do better, especially with this machine, and that it felt like I could do it a little bit better with a different machine. But that's all personal opinion. Now I'm gonna use this Ambition battery kind of grip. They are very similar to the ink log grips. You have your display over here, the buttons are underneath here under the grip tape, and I got a little bit of a connector for a clip cord because it does have a clip cord connection at the bottom. You can use this with cartridges and with regular needles. I'm gonna show it off with this and some cartridges because I don't have any regular needles at home and a power supply at my house, and I'm currently at my house, and I just want to show you guys how this thing actually works. So we're gonna get the practice skin ready, and we're gonna do a little bit of tattooing with this. So right now I got my 3 round liner cartridge in. I'm gonna use it at 7.5 volts. You can hear the machine is running already. Kinda still gives you that same kind of vibe as when you use a coil machine, because it's a noisy machine. And I know some people hate it and some people love it. There we go, this is 3 round liner. Very steady, very stable kind of hit. And you can see this thing will pull lines pretty well. So yeah, it's like very consistent hitting, and you can barely hear any like resistance from the practice skin as well. Now we're gonna use a super tight 9 round liner, and we're gonna see how it performs with that. Now I do expect that this is gonna be a little bit more of trouble for this machine. Now they do have this machine with a 4.0 or 4.5 millimeter stroke as well, which has a lot more power obviously, and it might be a little bit better for bolt lining. This is a 3.5 millimeter stroke, which I told you before, so we're gonna see how it works. Dip a little bit of ink and do a couple of lines. Alright, now of course we're gonna demonstrate a little bit of shading on here as well. Even though I don't really like to use it for shading, but it doesn't really hurt to do that on a practice skin. So I got a 15 curve Magnum. I'm gonna lower the voltage down a little bit. So we're gonna go to 6 volts. I'm gonna do just a little bit of shading over here. You can tell even at 6 volts this machine runs pretty fast, or at least a little too fast for my liking when I do my shading. I'm really slow when it comes to shading and to lining. I just like to work really slow, honestly. Let's see if this thing goes down a little bit more. 5.5. Yeah, that's a bit more comfortable for me. So yeah, it is very nice for shading work when I use it on a practice skin, but then whenever I'm tattooing someone, I'm just not comfortable enough using that as my shader. Now color packing is pretty good as well. So we're gonna pack just a little bit underneath here. I do like that this thing has kind of like a little bit of, it bogs a little bit, like that's what you would have on your coil machine. You can hear it slow down a little bit when you get into the skin, which is a very nice feature. But yeah, all in all, especially when you use it with this battery grip, it is very comfortable to work with. Now I do think they have their own wireless kind of battery to put on this machine. I just had this one laying around, that's why I'm using it for this video. But you can see it actually puts out really nice line and shading work on the practice skin, of course. Now personally, I really like to use this for my lining and fine lining, but on real skin, I don't know, I struggle a little bit with the shading and the color packing. But yeah, that could be a personal thing. Let's quickly go back up top and talk about this machine a little bit more. So I hope you enjoy watching this review on the Anvil MK1. This is an older version because I have been having it for a long time, but it's been such a long time since we brought a high-end machine to the channel, and I know there's a lot of people on this channel who are here for the high-end comparisons as well. So yeah, it was a lot of fun to review this machine. I've bought this one probably about 2 years ago when they actually already had the MK2 out of this machine. I just decided to buy the MK1 because I was a little bit low on my budget. So yeah, that's why I bought this one, and it's actually a very nice machine, especially for lining, and especially for lining if you come from using coil machines and you want to get into the rotary machines. You don't want to really get into like the whole pen hype kind of stuff, and you just want to have a regular machine, use your regular needles. You can use this machine as well. I opted to use a battery grip with some cartridges, which works absolutely fine for this machine. And yeah, then in that case you can work wireless. Now I do think on their website they do have a battery that you can connect to the bottom, and you can use this machine still with your regular needles if you want to do so. I am just a bigger fan of using cartridges because it's a lot easier to work with, and even the suppliers here don't even have a lot of like regular needles and regular grips out anymore because nobody is basically buying them, which is a very sad thing. But then on the other hand, I think a lot of people are more leaning towards the cartridges because it's easier to work with, which I fully understand. I'm guilty of that myself. So yeah, that's the reason why I use this with a battery grip and then with some cartridges. I will link the website to this builder in the description down below. I am not sponsored or anything by them. I just thought I should put a little bit of information out on this machine because there's very little information to be found on YouTube or wherever about these machines other than their own website and their own YouTube channel. And I thought it would be fun just to make a review for you guys for some extra information and see how it actually works. Now of course, if you have any questions about this machine, make sure you drop them in the comment, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And then I will probably see you in the next video.